Howdy. How we doing? Really, really, really easy day ahead of us here, alright? Beyond easy. Why is today going to be easy? Somebody tell me. Not triple equal, but yeah. Oh, actually, yes. I suppose. Quadruple equal. We know the draw. Inverse hourly. Equal highs. Lots of liquidity. Don't know where you get. Yeah. Okay, so you guys don't even need me here. I'm going to just head out. There's really no reason why I need to stream at all. I feel like you guys have already figured out how to do this. So everyone can just cancel and I'll just go do my thing and catch this trade and yeah, honestly, I'm just joking. But yeah, we have day before NFP today, so we might get some additional manipulation. But I mean, you guys said it best. My idea for today is down, tap the hourly, V shape, inverse up, grab the equal highs. If we get that set up, probably just get off. If we start to, violate the gap a lot, and we start to, it doesn't really look like it's going to be an IO Fed. Maybe we can look to like 50%. This 30-minute gap down here for a retrace, and we can get an even better long or something. By the way, this morning, like when I got on at like 9:25. I looked at the chart. I saw that we swept out previous day low. We were delivering out of this daily gap, and we had a really bullish, soup reaction to it. And so when we started to just fly at 9:30, I just jumped in longs. Like that was literally it. Like there was no thought process behind it. Like this is so V shape in hindsight. And like I only entered with like a few micros, but I just held them for 50 points, and I just made like however many. I like jumped in longs like here, and then like I averaged or whatever I did. I like was in here. Yeah, that's what I did. I jumped in here, and then I averaged up here, and like my average was good there, and then I was break even there, and I was trying to target the equal highs, and we got some, and then I moved my stop in profit. I scaled another one there, and then I got ticked out there, and then we just ran. That was stupid of me. I don't know why I did that. I should have just kept my break even where it was, and I could have just held for high a day or whatever. Made like even more money. Was the trade this morning a unicorn model? Probably. If there was, yeah, I mean, 5 minute unicorn looks like. Yeah, just a 5 minute unicorn setup. How can you tell that there won't be an extra manipulation leg down after the sweep? If order flow becomes confirmed on the higher time frame. So when we get this inverse here on the 15 minute, that's when you know. As soon as higher time frame order flow flips, there's not going to be a manipulation leg. If anything, there'll be a retrace to balance an inefficiency, and then we'll just keep going. Still holding from 615. Yeah, you could probably hold this until NFP tomorrow and just sell at the high. 300-point trade. Yeah, Alex, we'll take the long here. This is a really good draw on liquidity here. It's quadruple equal highs. It's also 15-minute equal highs. So if we get a retrace to this hourly gap and then a long out of it, we'll take that. How long did it take? Oh, I think I got in when I saw this pullback, or like when we put in the order block here or whatever it was. I jumped in like here on the first, and I had my stop below the order block here, and then I just averaged in when we like, I forget if it was like somewhere here. I was just so confident in longs prior to the macro. And then we got like a 15-minute close, and I was like super convinced because we closed over like, I think it was like a 5-minute gap or something. Or the 5-minute order block, that's what it was. We got the 5-minute OB here, and I was just like, yeah, we're just going to go up. So, I don't know. Market structure there was just telling me like this price wanted to go up there, and this open was like super good, in my opinion. When you get this candle here, and we just start seeing order blocks get put into the upside, we start violating bullish for value or bearish for value guys with a lot of momentum. I think that's a really good sign. I don't know. Oh, Dodgy was talking about this breaker, I think. Or maybe it was this one. I don't know. Whatever one it was. It's probably a better breaker because it's a swing, but yeah. So yeah, today we're just basically just going to wait for the macro. We're going to get a long into this hourly gap, and then we're going to target the equal highs. It's going to be like something like this. Ideally. 4R. Yeah, Yuki, don't listen to that. Don't let the noise, distract you from the play, right? It's like yesterday when we were taking that 5-minute long, right? Like, did I care? Like, of course, like, I sighed, but, like, that was about the extent of my expression of frustration towards the trade. I mean, it is what it is if it loses, right? This is a setup I have to take, right? It's V-shape. So. Yeah, for sure, Yuki. There will be another trade. Doesn't matter. You guys been using that MFFU deal for 50% off? That shit was awesome, dude. Like $45 starter account. Crazy, crazy. $45 round trip for any funded account is just crazy. Yeah, it's still active. Pretty sure it's active till the end of the month. Yeah, it's till the end of the month. Yep. What's the code? Here, check the screen. Yep. Yeah, for sure, 42. But yeah, it's for that first account, and then every other account is like 15% off. But yeah. Yesterday's was good. We had this 5-minute V shape. The day before that was good. We had like a nice win. We took a this setup here on the candle close, like just basically a momentum play. And then where did we target? Did we target here? That would have been crazy. I don't think we did that. I think we just targeted here, right? I don't remember. Let me check. Yeah, we just held to there. Yeah. But this would have been a crazy hold. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? I think I remember why I didn't. It's because I scaled at the data high a contract and then I scaled here and that was like because I was in light, I wasn't able to have runners. So, yeah, I remember now. I remember. Just took that 3 minute at 3:15. Any thoughts on it failing? 3 minute at 3:15. I just think we're like too choppy right now. Or 1:15, not 3:15. Oh, the long. Okay, so yeah, so basically you're just trading between two really good draws on liquidity. Dave, so like whenever you have conflicting draws, think of like whenever we form like a data wick and we have both wicks still intact. What that does is that creates a moment in the market where there's two sides of liquidity that are both very strong. And so the market doesn't know which one it wants to grab first. And so order flow doesn't actually help you because in order to form a bias, right? We have this equation for bias, which is draw on liquidity plus order flow. Some people call it delivery, whatever, right? And so if you have a conflicting draw, that basically cancels out, right? And so you basically don't have a bias because in order to form a bias, you have a draw plus order flow, and so here you just have order flow. And so when you see price inverse this 3 minute to the upside, okay, we don't really have a liquidity sweep. It doesn't really tell us anything about order flow because it's an insignificant gap. It's really tiny. It's not that obvious. So you're basically just taking a long without bias, which is essentially gambling because bias is like the most important thing whenever you're taking a trade. And so that's why this 3 minute just failed. Also, whenever you notice like the candle close of an inverse have like a really pronounced wick, that's usually a bad candle close, especially when that reaction is off of like something like a BPR like this, right? So you see here when you take that 3 minute, you have this 1 minute BPR, which is the strongest PD ray in the market, holding price down, right? So this 3 minute inverse is like really bad for a lot of different reasons. You're taking a long into a bearish, obvious 3 minute order block. You're taking a long into a bearish BPR. You're taking a long without bias with conflicting draws. So what we're going to do in order to take a long is you just want to wait for price to come down, rebalance this 1 hour inefficiency, and then we can take a long. We can retarget the highs. Yeah, Bomb Bell. So basically what we need now is right now price is accumulating, right? We're just kind of chopping sideways, right? So if price is accumulating, what do we need to see first before taking a play? Yeah, we need to see manipulation, right? So that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for price to kind of break out of this range and manipulate down to take out one side of the liquidity, whether that's, we take out the hourly gap or we take out the highs here and get a short, right? So that's kind of the plan right now. We don't want to be taking trades in accumulation inside the range. When will it be good to short again? Usually when we're like 500 points away from all-time highs and like the daily inverses. So like in this scenario here, you would be good to short if price inversed this daily gap. Okay, the shorts from down here would probably be valid. I was looking at my data on my funded futures over plays that I'd taken, and I was looking at longs versus shorts, like the profitability, and I was unprofitable taking shorts, and I had like a 99% win rate taking longs in the last month. I took one loss on a long, and I was like 50-50 on shorts. Am I on for AM tomorrow? I don't think so. I think what's it called? Um, Dodge is going to be streaming tomorrow, and then hopefully we just get the OSFL set up. Why do you have the entry tool position right there? Because I'm going to guess. This is my guess for when we'll get our setup. Is tomorrow a half day? Tomorrow's a half day, and Friday we're just completely off. I didn't realize, going into this week that it was a half day until like Monday when I checked. Yeah, Alex, probably. So yeah, if you guys want to load up on my funded futures accounts, like the starter account, which doesn't have a consistency in the eval, tomorrow will probably be a passing stream. Tomorrow is a half day. Since when did it use? I don't know. I checked the schedule this week, and Top Step and everybody's talking about tomorrow being a half day for the stock market, and we close at 105. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why tomorrow would be a half day. Would you say today is a good funded PM day? Yeah, if we start to get some, good movement during the macro here and we get a good inverse play towards the equal highs, yeah, I think that would be a good funded play. Is NFP on a half day really a good passing NFP? I mean, I don't see why not. Can you do the passing method with my funded futures? Yeah, you can. Just not with the starter plus accounts. Because the starter plus accounts, you have the consistency rule during the eval phase. Friday is off, no trading, correct. Yeah, so this is going to be our last PM stream of the week, unfortunately. And then we have another short week next week. And then, we'll see from there. Can you explain, is it bad to pair a 1 minute IFEG with a 4-hour FEG's delivery? Like yesterday, 11:15 long, I took it even though 1 minute long paired with 4-hour FEG. Why does it matter? I'm confused. Anytime price taps into a higher time frame gap, that's a good confluence to add to any lower time frame trade. 1 minute, 5 minute, 3 minute, whatever. So I don't really think it matters necessarily. So like today, right? Like price came down, swept previous day low, and tapped into the daily gap, right? I think that more has to do with aligning draws on liquidity with lower time frame entries. If that makes sense. So like you wouldn't use like a 1 minute entry to target like a weekly objective. Yeah, it's weird. It's weirdly phrased. Like I don't know why he phrased it like that. That's kind of how I interpret it, but yeah, you can always take entries on the higher time frame. If you get what I mean, right? How is next week a short week? Because I'm going on vacation next week. Yeah, it's the first time I've taken a vacation since starting PM. I'm going to Virginia. Yeah. How long? So Thursday until the following Tuesday. I started PM last September, Dave. So it's a little 4 days off. Yeah, I think Dodge is going to cover. Yeah. The expert account with the discount looked really good. Yeah, yeah, JIS for sure. 4 hour equal highs. Yeah. When we close the two o'clock candle here, the 4 hour equal highs will be put in. Yeah, if you guys are really green on the week, like I'm three for three for green days this week already. Like if you don't want to force a trade before NFP, you don't have to do it. All I know is if if we get like a good V shaped funded something like that play from the 1 hour gap to target these equal highs, I'll take it. See, here's the problem. Here's the problem. In order for somebody to cover PM, it has to be somebody I can trust. And I just don't have that trust with Vert yet. So I'm sure he's more than capable of taking over the stream and doing that. But the thing is, I don't know if he's going to hop on stage and start talking about 1940s Germany and, you know, all this other stuff and like promoting this like propaganda. And like, I can't have that, you know? Like it's a business, right? Like I have to, you know. Somebody asked me if I could post the macros for PM. I have them listed in the PM chat, like as pinned, but I will post it. So there's that. So this is pretty good momentum coming into the macro here. Do we have a good obvious gap to take as an inverse? And we left equal lows, so yeah, price is just giving us a hard time here. I think if we end up inversing the BPR, we'll probably go up. So this will be like a, if we include the inception gap here, I mean, you could take this play, it'd be about 0.5R. If we sweep the highs, can we just short and target the hourly equal lows? Yeah, we can target the hourly like unfilled gap. I think you meant just the hour. Yeah, hourly / equal lows. Yeah, that's fine. If we sweep the highs and get a short, that would be okay, but I probably wouldn't take it unfunded because I don't know if you just heard jiu-jitsu, but I looked at MFFU and I looked at shorts over the last month, and I'm unprofitable taking shorts in the last month, and I've taken one loss taking longs, and I've taken, I think it was like 19 long setups. So I'm 18 for 19 on longs, and I'm unprofitable taking shorts. So that's I don't know. I don't really want to take shorts after seeing that data. ES looks bad. Yeah, ES doesn't look great. We're about to hit high of day. Maybe. It's just straight chop. Yeah, so right now, guys, if we were to take a long here, you'd just be taking a long in an accumulation phase. What about the little 2 minute? I'd honestly prefer the 1 minute here. The 1 minute PPR since that rejected price. So, I mean, we can... I guess here was the entry because we formed a breaker at the same time as the inverse. And that's a 1 minute BPR. You just hold it to the high, go break even at the high, and then... But this is never a trade I would take. We had an SMT at the break even. Oh. Cool, cool. You took that? Oh, I think that's... Oh, no, that's the lower one. Yeah, that's cool. That's fine. I can't trust these gaps to tell me anything about order flow, especially when we have equal lows below in the hourly unfilled gap. I want to wait for one of them to be addressed before trying to target the other. Yeah. So yeah, macro time has started at this point. We're clearly just moving up here. Is anyone going to be taking the point 0.5 risk to reward play here? You're good. Would you guys would you guys want like a more maybe to cover? He might work, but nah. Or maybe yeah, maybe even Exano or Amy, dude. Amy would be fine. Like if Amy and Exano wanted to cover, Exano, I'm going on vacation next week, and I talked about it a few weeks ago that I was going to try and have somebody cover. Are you going to be available next Thursday, Friday, Monday, and Tuesday? Like the Monday and Tuesday after? Like you and Amy could split up the days, or you guys could stream together, or whatever. And then obviously like compensation, whatever we could talk about. Okay. Yeah, that could be fun. I'll talk to Dodgy if he doesn't want it. I'll send it over to you guys. Don't talk to guys. Come on. Starting August 1st, Top Step will only offer Project X as their trading platform. All 15 other platforms will be removed. What? Wow. Yeah, I know. I thought it was just Trade Debate they're getting rid of. They're getting rid of everything? I didn't even realize. It was on Twitter or not show. I think it's just Brian Stonks. He made a tweet about it. Okay, so Swig, basically, you know when you go to a prop firm and you buy an account from them, you can pick your brokerage platform, right? So like, you can pick like Ninja Trader, Tradeovate, whatever. Top Step is getting rid of every other brokerage platform besides their own proprietary platform called Top Step X or Project X or whatever it's called. It's just going to be that one. So there's no more Tradeovate, no more Ninja, no more. Um, I don't know. That those are the only ones that really matter. But you can still have them, right? Like you can still trade. I think everyone that already has an account with them is grandfathered in, right? But there will be no new accounts sold. Is that correct? Wait, they're not grandfathered in? I thought they were. Wait, so everyone that has an account on a different prop firm or a different brokerage is just going to be moved to. I feel like that's going to be way too difficult. Wait, no, 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 no. There's no way. There's no way. That's way too difficult.
Yo, I heard people are talking shit about me.
Yeah, dude. I'm sitting up here defending you. They're like, nah, we don't want Dodger for PM. I'm good because I'm talking about going on vacation next week. And I'm like, I would
Man.
want you to cover, but I mean, obviously, if you got things going on, I've already talked with Amy and Exano, and they'll be back up.
Yeah, I'm going. Wait, what? I'm going to Montana July 8th through 12th.
So yeah, just wait, July 8th through 12th.
Yeah, when do you need me?
Oh, if you want to cover, probably like just the 15th, that
Oh,
Tuesday, that would
okay.
be cool.
15th should be fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll only cover as long as Murmar watches.
Okay. Sounds good.
If Murmar doesn't watch, I'm not covering.
All right.
All right, cool. See ya.
So yeah. Okay. So that's one date. I think I should be able to cover the 14th. So then I just need the 10th and maybe the 11th. So yeah, I guess Amy and Exano, if you guys want to cover the 10th, I know I need that date. And then maybe the 11th, we'll see. I might just cancel PM for the 11th and then give it back to you guys probably the 1st, because the 1st we would have off, unless like the 1st is like Memorial Day, which it definitely could be. No. Okay, so that's just a normal day. So yeah, what I might do is I might just cancel that Friday and give it back to you guys on the 1st. Are we paying attention to the chart? Not really, because right now, while we're just sitting between this draw on liquidity and this draw, there's not really anything we can do while we're accumulating, right? So hopefully we get a long from down here and then up to that. So I can throw this in the schedule actually. Um, so the 15th, 7-15, right? Okay, so this V shape to the downside looks pretty interesting because we respected that 1 minute BPR. 3 minute short would target the um, hourly plus the equal lows for a good break even there. Okay. Oh yeah, Oksana. Okay. So Oksano's calling this A plus. I think he's just messing around, but let's see. Is this 1-to-1 to the low? 3 minute short is A plus mechanically. Yeah, so this is A plus mechanically to the low. I would really like this if we didn't have the equal highs above. I would probably try it and get wrecked on it or just get break even. Yeah, this is fine eval short. I'm probably not going to take it on eval just because I'll just wait for the funded long and that'll be fine. But yeah, I don't know. Looking at that data, you know, regarding shorts, that was so crazy to me. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, there's also the 5 minute. I guess you might want to wait for. I think the 3 minutes more obvious, so you should be good to go, considering we're in the macro time and we have a really good draw. Um, but yeah, have I ever considered going half size on all shorts? I mean, I guess, but I mean, if it's a losing proposition while we're at all time highs, what's the point in even trying them? Whether I'm losing full risk, half risk, whatever. Trader Kane. Top Step have removed Trade of 8 slash Ninja from their platform for good. If you're waiting for them to add it back, don't. Top Step slash Project X has slippage. You'll be told it doesn't, but it very much does. Some big changes coming to space. Very interesting. Very interesting. That was my problem. I think was just the data that I got on Top Step X. Whenever I used it, wasn't great. Like it's nothing compared to Trade of 8, at least. But maybe changes have happened since then, and maybe it's gotten better. EJ, that was me that actually made that change. So I can change the color, but he likes the red for his thing, and it's supposed to be a skull. But yeah, I mean, definitely could change it again. Oh, it says I have something in. So yeah, it looks like this 3 minutes gonna fail. I think that was. Oh wow, the 5 minute never even inverse. So yeah, I feel like that was pretty predictable. We talked about how shorts just fail at all time highs. There's a textbook A plus mechanical short failing right there. Yeah, 5 minute never closed. This is one of those scenarios though where I feel like the 5 minute really doesn't matter that much because everything else about order flow is telling you that we're bearish, and so like the 5 minute, if this is a winning play, it should just never be inverse. But this is just like all time highs. I feel like this trade losing has less to do with the 5 minute and more to do with just being all time highs PA. Any predictions for NFP tomorrow? Probably just more upside. For sure, EJ. That's funny. Dama, when you ever get in that scenario, you know what you got to do, right? You just got to ride out the trade until you either blow the account or you pass the account or like get even or whatever. That's the only. Oh wow, damn. That's tough. That wasn't funded though, right? Oh, okay. It wasn't funded. Oh, okay. All is well. All is well. All is well. Vert, I feel like it's about the same, to be honest. I, I think it's funny. I saw somewhere this dude who was like a aspiring quant trader on social media. He was like basically back tested and went and looked to see when the highest time for returns was, and it wasn't seasonal. It wasn't specific to any like 9:30 to 10 o'clock or anything like that. It was 2 to 3 in the morning. That was what he found was the time where the most returns happened for the market. So I don't know. Right before London Open, yeah. But it's not there wasn't increased volatility during that time. There's not a lot of volume. It's literally just like I don't know what it is, but like we just slowly grind up during that time or whatever. But just because that time is where you make the majority of the returns over the longest period of time, like on average, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the best time for trading. There's a difference between best average returns as far as like holding a position goes, over long term versus scalps, right? I think the best time for making money for scalps is probably 9:50 to 10:10. I feel like that's where I make the majority of my money. So yeah, we're still just accumulating. We definitely could just accumulate for the rest of the session because now we're getting out of the macro, right? It's about to be 210. We'll have another shot, maybe the 250 macro, but MFFU is 5 times 100. Yep, 5 days of $100 profit each day, Damo. Two-minute long is cooking. Yeah, we. Oh wow, the 2 minute never even inverse to the downside. Okay, so yeah, this could have definitely caused it to fail, even though it wasn't a singular yet. The 2 minute being respected there definitely was more bullish. But yeah, 2 minute long just hit the break even. Obviously, while we're in this range, I'm just gonna wait for one of the extremities to be swept. If you pick Tradeovate Swake, you can actually trade on TradingView as well. You just can't copy trade. I like Tradeovate because then you don't have to buy any third party copy trading software. Tradeovate has everything built into it, right? So you can just set up a group order, and then as long as you're just trading in the same prop firm, you can copy all your accounts right inside of Tradeovate, which is nice. Yeah, Amy, I think I'm gonna get TPT next. I think that's gonna be my next prop firm that I try and tackle once I get pushed alive on MFFU and I run out of accounts on Apex. But I feel like at any given time you only need two prop firms. You don't really need more than two. I mean, it's up to you. Like, if you want to build like a huge copy trader like Johnny and have like 50 accounts, do that. But for like what I do, which is I have one set of accounts in the morning I trade, one set of accounts in the PM I trade. That's all you really need is two. A starter plus is the difference between the two is basically starter plus is a little bit more expensive. You have less drawdown. Um, you have a consistency phase during the eval phase, but there's no consistency during the funded. And then for starter, it's a little more inexpensive. You have no consistency phase during the eval phase, but you have a consistency phase during the funding phase. Both account types are capped at $1,200 payouts. Both you need 5 days of $100 profit in order to receive a payout. So the difference in price, I think, is about usually it's like less than $10 with the discount. Um, so yeah. What would I suggest? Honestly, I like the starter accounts more, but it's up to you. Phoenix, you're absolutely right. Like, I totally understand your frustration. Like, realistically, I should just make a graphic, throw it up in the PM chat, and then just like reference the graphic anytime somebody has a question about it. Like, I do go over it a whole lot, right? And the only reason why is because like my goal like as an educator is to answer people's questions on stream. And right now we're not really getting anything about price that's like, you know, for us to do, but I totally understand the frustration. So yeah, That'll be, I guess, my goal for this weekend is to have like a graphic made going over all the MFFU stuff, or just like pull a graphic from somewhere else that already has it. But yeah, like the only time I'll bring it up, I think, from the future Phoenix is if like there's like a new discount running, or there's a major change happening. Today, I brought up obviously the major changes at Top Step, and then obviously we have the deal at MFFU that people are asking about. But yeah, you're right. We do go over it an awful lot. It's a big part of the business, though, right? Or just make a video and send the link every time. Yeah, for sure. But it's easier to do a graphic, I think, because um, prop firms tend to change their rules a lot. This 1 minute's holding. Yeah, yeah. We have so maybe when we break through this 1 minute, we'll finally reach for those equal highs. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Right. Um, However, the added value that I guess provide, right, that people are paying for, is for me to essentially do that for them, right? Because if people could just do it on their own, why would I be here, right? So I totally understand though your frustration. Yeah, with the chart, yeah, exactly. But with everything with trading, right? Not just the chart, you know. That's what we focus on the majority of the time, but I don't know. We focus on other things. We focus on psychology. That has nothing to do with the chart. Yeah, true, Zevi. Yep. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Check ES. Yeah, ES looks horrible. Um, I think another aspect to look at too with it is everyone can go ahead and read the rules, but there are some people that still don't get it even after reading it, and then there's some people that don't really understand how to do like analyze it monetarily to figure out like what is truly the best option for their situation. And so that's kind of where I can jump in and provide some insight too. Do you think it's even possible to pass MFFU evals on NFP? Yeah, you would need a 50-point move. So maybe. So how do you get 50 accounts? So 20 accounts with Apex, 5 with Tradeify, 5 with TPT, 3 with MFFU. That's 33, right? And then how many with Bolinox? Is it 5? 38, right? And then I don't know, Top Step. Did I say Top Step already? That's another 5, so 43. And then there's like a few other ones, like Funded Next, and I don't know. But yeah, you can get to 50. Why do you not do like 50 accounts? Copy trade. What's the downfall? My own personal psychology, Vert. That's my downfall. Maybe like 25. I'm working on 10 right now. That's what I've worked up to at this point. For a good minute, I was trying to copy trade 20, and it was just so bad for my psychology. So like, what I do is I do like my MFFUs in the morning. I try and clear that trade, and then I'll take like another trade on a copy 5 accounts on Apex, and then I copy 10 in the afternoon. How is it bad for my psychology? Because like seeing that big of numbers at the top just like messes with me. Like I still struggle with certain things. What's my biggest? What do you mean? What's my biggest? Oh, what's the biggest thing I struggle with? Probably exits. I'm still working on holding runners like as far as I can. And I still like find like ways to like cope whenever like trades go too far. Like the other day when I sold that trade early, it just so happened that the consistency rule aligned, and I'm like, oh yeah, consistency. But like realistically, I should have held that trade farther. You can really be profitable just trading PM. Yeah, I've taken payouts just on PM accounts. Yeah. So like realistically, like the four phases that a trader needs to complete in order to like become fully profitable are probably like analysis, entry, um, analysis during the trade, and then exit. And like I'm at the exit phase right now. Like that's where I need to work on. Sounds good, Jiu-Jitsu. So yeah, once again another V shape here where prices came down. We ended up respecting this little tiny 1 minute BPR here, and looks like price wants to hit the high. I mean, this is another like eval attempt, so obviously it would have been break even already, but I'm just not gonna do anything while we're in this range. So you have analysis before the trade, you have the entry, you have the analysis during the trade, and then you have the exit. The exit is still where I could probably work on finding better exit points, finding figuring out exactly like what needs to fail in order for me to hop out of a trade, like when a trade is coming back on me, you know I don't know. I think every trader should have their own strategy, Umami. Like, not necessarily your own entry model, but your own understanding of how the market works. Um, concerning market structure, order flow, that kind of thing. Like, it's something a little bit different, right? Like, essentially, your goal as a trader doesn't even necessarily have to be with analysis either. It can just be with forming strategies that help you in your own psychology, right? So, like, one thing that helps me is I essentially only group trade 5 accounts at a time, right? I did that for a long time, right? And that helped me with my psychology, right? Your job as a trader is to do two things as far as education goes. You're learning about external like problems, and then you're learning about internal problems, right? So all the external problems are like your just like analysis based learning, um, learning about prop firms, learning about risk management. What else? All that stuff. And then learning about internal problems is how trading impacts you, right? And so building systems that create a less emotional trader, building environments that create a less emotional trader, right? And so this is like your job. This is literally what you do on a day-to-day basis. So when somebody asks you like what you do, you say you trade various markets where you learn about or where you tackle external and internal facing problems. You trade various financial markets and tackle external and internal facing problems. There you go. I don't know. Right? So this is like your ICT. This is self-explanatory. This is self-explanatory. What else? To gauge Dodgy's reaction to the market. So like, if he's super excited about a trade, I don't know. Entry model. Yeah, that's probably the right one. Yeah, exactly, Umami. Because if you understand liquidity, you base your entries off of whatever entry model you want to use, right? The entry model, all that changes depending on the entry model is how often it appears and um, how often it delivers to final TP and the win rate. Like that, those are the three things that are like varying among the entry model, but the idea behind every single trade, as long as you're trading based on liquidity, is the same, right? So like OBs tend to have a lower win rate, but they appear more often. IFEGs happen to have a higher win rate, but they appear less often. OBs and IFEGs typically, OBs will probably deliver the highest like range targets. So like, or turtle soup, like you'll see like trades that go the farthest, but they'll lose the most often. IFEGs, you'll often see the most break evens, and you'll often see the lowest like risk reward, but they'll win at a much higher rate. Does that make sense? So depending on what type of person you are dictates what kind of entry model you'll use. If you're somebody that likes to have a really high win rate with fewer trades, then you trade IFEGs. If you're somebody that is okay with taking more losses but just wants to see more trades, trade order blocks, trade turtle soups, right? How did I become a less emotional trader? I built systems that curbed my emotions, right? So one of those systems, for example, I mentioned earlier was, I traded less size. So I only traded 5 accounts versus 20. I also put myself in an environment that made me less emotional. So I started streaming, right? By streaming, I'm putting myself in a less emotional environment because I have to be objective about the market at all times and talk to you guys, and I'm worrying less about my own internal thoughts, right? Obviously, streaming is like something that like not everyone wants to do, right? So maybe instead of streaming, you record yourself and you watch back and you just talk to yourself objectively, right? So these are the two ways that you can improve, and become a less emotional trader. You build systems and you build environments. But first, before any of that, you have to figure out how trading impacts you, right? Because that's the only way you're going to build systems and environments around, those issues. So does this kind of help you guys like understand what your job as a trader is? Like, does this put it into perspective better? Does this help, like, as far as psychology goes, like what pieces affect psychology and whatnot? And of course, there's probably going to be overlap here because learning about risk management is probably going to help with your psychology and whatnot. Yeah, for sure, mommy. Yeah, I'm not saying that at all. Basically, the idea behind building your own system is because all of us are unique with the problems we face in our daily world and the way that we react to those problems, you have to figure out what systems help you better. You know, maybe journaling helps you better than streaming would. Maybe, I don't know, trading with size isn't your problem, but maybe it's you're scared to enter a trade, right? So that's kind of the idea about like making your own systems, having your own system as far as like an entry model and analysis and all that. That you don't have to do on your own. That's already been tested. People have already figured out what works, what doesn't, whatever. That's what you guys being here is for. This is the part that you kind of have to do on your own and figure out. And obviously, we'll be here to kind of help guide you and figure out, how you can do this yourself, right? But this is the part where you put the work in yourself. This is what you can't really um, pay for somebody else to do, right? because this is like, I don't know. This is the mental part. This is the mental portion. I'm not inside your brain, right? I haven't used Bookmap, but I know what it is, and I think it can be useful, but it probably just adds a level of confusion that's unnecessary, considering we can kind of see all the things that Bookmap would show us in live time by just watching the chart. Yeah, for sure, crypto. That's one of the big things I talk about in one-on-ones that I do is that desperation for money component. That tends to affect traders an awful lot, right? Because desperation is definitely a key emotion. Speaking of one-on-ones, if you guys have been, thinking about having a one-on-one with myself during the morning, right now there's a little, I guess, incentive where if you buy a one-on-one, you'll get a month of PM for free. Basically makes it the same price as it used to be. Relative equal everything everywhere. Yeah, true. I know, Damo. Yeah, for sure, Damo. That's why like a lot of like young people I feel trade and are successful with it because it's easier to digest. Bro, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? uh, you guys see why I haven't bothered to take any longs? I mean, every single long ended up being a break even trade. It's all terrible risk to reward. If anything, like this would be okay now because there's no inception gap, right? So maybe the inception gap is there, and you can shoot for 10 points, I guess, if we inverse this. Okay, so here's another really good example of order flow, right? When we talk about what gaps are important and what gaps aren't. Do you see how when price responds to this bearish BPR here and we reject and create a lower low, do you see how none of these gaps here really have any significance? I mean, sure, we rejected it and we made a lower low out of it, I guess here, but you know, this gap is a lot more obvious and it's the last gap in the leg. It's a BPR. And so like I guess another good example would be like this gap here or whatnot. Because these bearish for value gaps don't send price to a lower low, they often don't have a whole lot of significance. But when we retrace back to this gap, you can see how many attempts it's taking for us to break through this, showing how much significance this BPR has. Right? So as we generate this trendline liquidity, all of these bearish gaps that didn't send price to a lower low are just getting wrecked as soon as, price wants to reverse. And this gap is still, the one holding. Right? Might as well short. Yeah, you could short to the trend line or something for sure. Yo, let's find a gravestone doji. That's almost one. That's got to be the rarest candle ever. Because it's a, what is that? A devil's mark, but it's wicked. How would that even? Dude, we gotta find the gravestone doji. Where is it? Oh, there it is. I'm counting that. That's close enough. Right? Let's see what else. Anything? Oh, there it is. Bang. When we have an order block, it always needs to be followed by a fair value gap to be considered a valid order block, right? And is it possible that the market later comes back and inverts the FEG, but only to reach the order block before continuing in the original direction? I mean, can the inversion happen just as a way for price to return to the order block? So, in my opinion, you don't need a fair value gap in order to get an order block. An order block can just form on their own without a fair value gap present. And yeah, I do believe sometimes what can happen is we can inverse a fair value gap but end up respecting a different PD array. Um, and the reason why that would happen is because the fair value gap that we end up inversing usually isn't what's telling of the bullish or bearish price action, right? So the next time something like that pops up, we'll talk about it, Tammy, for sure. But that's a good question. I like that. Like, I'll find an example of an order block that doesn't exist with an FEG next to it. Okay, here you go. Here's an example. I guess you can count this little tiny gap here, but I mean, that's an order block without an FEG. Here's another one. That one kind of has one. I don't know what else. What else? Here's one. This one, oh, this one does have a fair value gap. Never mind. This one doesn't really. I mean, I guess there's one year, but that's not really what you're talking about. Oh, I guess here. Yeah, this is okay. This is your example, right? This is what you're talking about. You have an order block here that's supporting price, but the FEG gets violated. Okay. So in this scenario here, why would us inversing this bearish gap to the downside not matter to tell order flow? Like, we come up here, we hit the high, right? This high is 708.25. This high is 708. So we sweep the high by a tick. Why would this inverse not be considered significant for order flow? We just kind of talked about it earlier. For real, you don't know? It's because this high or this gap doesn't really send price to a higher high, and it's not that obvious. What gap here, if we were to like switch time frames, what gap do you think would be telling if it got inversed as far as like order flow goes? Like that we would know that price is reversing. Tambi, right? Yeah, Vert's saying the 5. So this 5-minute gap is like, if this were to be inverse, would you say that price is bearish? Yeah, right? So you can kind of apply that to your order block scenario, right? Where like sometimes what you'll see is you'll have a gap plus an order block. The gap will fail, but the order block will hold. The reason why is because order flow actually never switches bearish here, right? And you have to think like in terms of like subjectivity as far as IFEGs go, not every IFEG is going to be a winning trade because there's other aspects to liquidity and order flow that need to be addressed before, price wants to reverse or whatnot. Yes, but an OB can also be on a higher low, right? Yes, correct. Usually when that happens, it's a rejection block. So what you're saying is like, okay, it looks like we're going to reverse, right? It's like something like this, right? Where we put in like a bearish OB here, and then the FEG fails here, and then we still head lower because the order block is holding, right? Is that basically what you're saying? Okay, so here, yeah, this gap just doesn't have any significance, I think. And we're like, usually this is just a sign of bad PA when that happens. But like, yeah, this just doesn't look like good PA, so that's why that happens. Because in good price action, like this gap will be more pronounced, it'll be more obvious, price won't run past it. Yeah. This is just like choppy accumulating PA where like price is causing fair value gaps to fail both ways. We put in this bullish gap here, sweep the high, come down, inverse it. Price doesn't tap the low, we go back up. This is just like not good price action. Same thing with this. This is not good PA. When should the CE of a fair value gap or wick matter? Good question. I don't know. Honestly, most of the time I feel like it's when it's like the last gap in the leg, or like it's a singular gap in a leg. Honestly though, like CE, like if CE aligns with something else, I guess that's when it would matter. But most of the time it's just that's about it. I mainly use 50% for like dealing ranges. Like I don't really focus on CE of like a PD array ever. I've never noticed the significance of it. Sometimes price will come down and just barely respect the gap and then will go up. Sometimes it'll tap the gap, the CE of the gap, and then go up. Like to me, it doesn't really have any significance. In backtesting, I've never noticed it. The only time I've ever noticed significance at a 50% level is when price has a inefficiency aligned with 50% that we need to rebalance before heading higher. That's like the only time I've ever used CE and like seen success with it in my trading. But maybe somebody else has a different, experience with that. Maybe I just need to see the light. Nah, Tom, you didn't miss nothing. I will say, like, sometimes I'll mark out CE of an order block, and I'll just, like, I don't know. I'll monitor it. Usually, if CE of the order block fails, it'll cause the whole order block to fail. But even then, like, I haven't backtested that with enough significance. Yeah, Tambi. So tomorrow, none of us will be around. The market will be closed. We close early tomorrow for some reason. If you go to like I don't know who sent me the link. Can somebody send me the link with the closures, the holiday closures or whatever? I have the CME holiday trading hours thing, but it doesn't show up there. Or maybe it does and I just missed it. But yeah, so like if we go to Independence Day, July 3rd, TAS grain, oilseed, and livestock regular close for each product. Day orders will be canceled on Friday, July 3rd. So it doesn't show it here. That's the weird thing. So I think it's... Equities close at 12:15. This is all in Central Time, right? So 1:15. Yeah. Here's from Take Profit. Thursday, early close at 12 p.m. Central, so this will even be closed before PM starts. Friday, the market's completely closed, Tambi, for Independence Day. Independence Day is July 4th. I just don't know why they would close it early half a day. I know, Electron. I'm hoping that, we have this macro here in about 4 minutes. We never inverse the 1 minute gap here, so maybe we'll finally break out of like this trendline liquidity that we're forming here, come down, tap the hourly gap, and then maybe V-shape back up. Yeah, so today's the last PM. I don't know, Tammy. It's weird. If the market's open tomorrow, I'll be live, but I'm 99% sure it's closed. Everyone is saying it's closed. It's okay. Even when we get accumulation phases like this, sometimes we'll end up getting a play, during 3 o'clock or whatever. But yeah, would you guys really expect today to be a good PM session? Like, somebody asked me in the morning, like, is today going to be a good PM? I said, probably not. All right. I mean, we get that much expansion. We move 250 points, whatever it is, during New York. I will see you Monday then, Tanvi. Oh, we respected the trend line again, actually. Wow. Trendline traders eating. Look, even this one too. Look at how many hits that one had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dude, we've tapped in this BPR 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. By the way, ES hit high of day. So we have an SMT with high of day now. That's going to be troublesome for longs, but maybe it'll be helpful for getting back to the hourly. I feel like this 1 minute short wasn't horrible, but it's just a break even trade like every time, right? I told you guys today was going to be so easy. We've had to do nothing all session. We just sit here and make people upset talking about prop firm accounts. And then I self promo for a bit. And then I doom scroll for a bit. And then we just sit here and we just talk. And then like maybe the setup will form at 3:30 and then we can just get off. Oh, we're going back up. Dude, I'm playing Wordle. It's time. Ooh. Okay. Okay. So you tell me this isn't therapy class? I guess not. have no idea what this is. This is a weird word. So C's got to go here. R probably maybe at the start. Okay, it can't be fruit because there's no C. Also, U goes in the middle spot. Also, R goes in the second spot. Or doesn't go in the second spot. So maybe it's this. Wait. What do I do? Incur? There we go. Incur, it means to like incur a trading loss. Like Vert incurs many losses. Becomes subject to. Vert becomes subject to many losses as a result of his own actions while trading. I know what Jujutsu's main issue is while trading. He might not admit it, but I know exactly what it is. Your issue is patience. Every stream, it's like alert when, signal when. Just be patient. Get yourself out of that mindset. Even if it's a joking mindset, there's always truth to some joke, right? Nice V-shape back up. No. I know Jujutsu. I know. I'm in this break even. Okay, I guess Vert's in this. Now we just have to hope for 3 o'clock. I mean, dude, why would we save this liquidity for Asia, man? That would be so messed up. Also, we really have not left this range all PM session. 30-point range. Actually, 30-point range. For micros, MNQ1, what you should use on TradingView. Normally I use MNQ5, right? So this is the correct one you're supposed to use. If you want to use micro NQ, this is the MNQU 2025 is what you should be using for micros. Is PM only good when AM and no. No, sometimes we get good PM if the volatility is really good for the day. But like we would get good PM sessions when look, when the VIX was up here, and even like here, PM was really good still. Even after like expansion during AM. Because we would get into a range, but the volatility would provide us with a big enough of a range that we could just trade the range. Right? Now VIX is like cratered, right? And so now if there's no news, if there's no Trump speaking, if there's no whatever, then we get a lot of this often, and then we'll get like our one key setup, usually a session, and that'll be our trade, right? Sometimes we don't, sometimes we do. But yeah, like because volatility is just so low right now and there's news setting up for tomorrow, we've already expanded so much, there's just so many different confluences against like us getting a trade. What got me excited when I got on for PM was obviously the draw on liquidity that was present. But if we have no volatility to get us to that draw, if there's no, I guess, no traders active, then obviously it won't happen. Is there any reason why VIX is so low? Because there's not really any surprises right now for the market. We know exactly what is going on right now. We've gotten our reaction to the tariffs. It hasn't really impacted inflation that much. The war is the war, and there's not like any like major conflict coming out of it. We've seen all that. There's just not really any uncertainty right now. Maybe we'll get more uncertainty when COVID Part 2 happens, or something like economically challenging happens in the Trump administration, or something like that. But like right now, where there's not really any uncertainty, volatility is going to be lower because we know what to expect. Yeah, it's mostly relative to macroeconomic news for sure. And not necessarily the news release, but the uncertainty related to the news release. So like while Trump's tariffs, we weren't really sure what the reaction was going to be. You know, that uncertainty created a lot of volatility in the markets. Now that we know what the reaction is, there's less volatility. Oh man. Is this the trade? Is it even 1-to-1? Oh no, it's not even one. Oh, it is. It's 1-to-1 exactly. Well, there it is. I mean, never something I'm going to take, but I imagine this works to the high. Yeah, I agree, Royal. I mean, or ROI. Every single entry model is going to point towards the draw on liquidity. So yeah, like waiting for a draw isn't necessarily something you want to do, but what the entry model does is it gives you usually a fixed return, right? It usually gives you like a fixed risk reward where you know the stop will be. Um, we can know where a draw on liquidity is, but the problem is sometimes the market will head in the opposite direction before eventually getting that draw on liquidity. That's why sometimes when we take a data play, right, if you don't wait for that OSFL setup and you just try targeting the data wick, even though it's a really good draw on liquidity, sometimes you'll get wrecked trying to target that data wick, right? That's why we want to wait for those inverses, because the inverse provides us with a fixed risk and a fixed reward. Does that kind of make sense? So yeah, I agree with you, right? It gives the illusion of precision, but that's not the point of it. The point of it is to provide you with a fixed risk reward, right? Let's go. Who took that? Bang. Oh my goodness, you took that with 4 minis, Zebby? Nice. Okay, well, there's our target for the session. Now we have the, um, I guess, unfilled hourly below. Wait, Damo, you got back? Hell yeah, dude. Okay. Yeah, this 2 minute would be A plus mechanically, as long as we're delivering from somewhere. Ooh, we're not really delivering from anywhere. That's okay. That's okay. We don't really need to be. This is a lot of liquidity down here. Delivering from the 1 hour? Kinda, yeah. We're still respecting this 1 hour bearish gap. But I want to see price take liquidity in order to, like, know for certain that we're delivering from somewhere. Because, like, right now, I don't know. It doesn't really feel like we are. 2 or 3? Is the 3 better? 2 is better. Well, let me guess. The 3 minute just formed. Yeah, so 3 and 2 probably should close at the same time here. It's a 10-point play, 10 points of risk. I want to make $300 on the session. Yeah, maybe I take this with like 5 micros, risk $90. Funded, probably. Just waiting for the extremity of the range to be swept. Good single. I mean, it's the piece of the puzzle, right? Um, isn't that like the trading session swing? Or maybe that's like the overnight session. This is just not great volume. So, volume and volatility are somewhat related, right? Where volatility kind of tells you like the type of range that we'll trade in. You know, right now obviously this is low volatility. Volume tells you basically the excitement of the candle, right? You know how energetic this candle is, right? Lower volatility but high energy candles typically result in like a smaller range, but we see like bigger swings back and forth, right? It's kind of like a ping pong ball in a narrow like hallway, right? Like the ping pong ball is going to bounce back and forth a lot. This is low volatility and low volume. The candles have no energy and we're not like creating like a big range, right? We had good volatility in the morning, obviously bad volatility right now. Why do I risk half size? Because shorts at all-time highs. So basically you can think about volume and volatility like this. Volatility is the narrowness of the hallway, right? So imagine this is like low volatility, this is high volatility, right? A or the volume is how hard the ping pong ball gets thrown into the hallway. So low volatility plus high volume will create a lot of, this type of price action. High volume plus high volatility will create a lot of this price action, just wider ranges, right? Low volume plus high volatility would create like this type of a range, right? Typical market maker model. And then low volume plus low volatility will just be like kind of like what we're getting right now, right? So for those of you that are confused between the difference of volume and volatility, that's kind of the difference. Does this 2-minute VI matter? No. Anything less than a point for a VI, I don't really care about. So this is like 2 ticks. If we short that FEG, wouldn't we be shorting a bullish breaker? Probably. Wait, where's our bullish breaker here? Oh no, we never. I guess I don't care though. Short from the extremity of the range, but this volume isn't good enough. This momentum isn't good enough. Yeah. So volume just dictates the amount of buyers and sellers there are in the market, right? And that's the energy of the candle itself. Sometimes when you're looking at like specifically pre-NFP or whatever, you'll see like the candle like bounce around a whole lot and like, whatever, like that's a sign of high volume, right? That's what the book map will tell you if you go look at it. If you look at the delta there on those type of candles and the amount of trades, whenever the candle is super energetic like that, that's high volume. Volatility just tells you, right, like how big like the range is going to be, right? So if volatility is low, that's typically a sign that NQ is going to be in a ranging profile on the daily, right? If volatility is high, then maybe that's where we see expansion, right? Yeah, I'm not saying that they have anything to do with each other. I'm just showing like how they interact with one another. Yeah. Because I hear some traders and they will say like volatility and volume are the same thing. They're just not the same thing at all. Okay, yeah, here's the 2-minute. Are we gonna get it? Yeah, that's a good candle close. So I guess I'll jump in that and break even at that low. I'm in this with half size, like I said. And this is probably going to be a loser because shorts lose at all-time highs. But I really like the idea of trying to target the unfilled hourly. It's kind of up to you guys, but I'll try it because the risk isn't horrible. So it's basically a risk to reward play. I think that this wins just enough to make this profitable. So we got the next 15-minute candle coming up here. Wow, really big super reaction in hindsight here. We're kind of taking a play in the middle of the range again, but I mean, at least we swept the extremity, so that's good. What will make you close the trade if price comes up and in versus the 2-minute back to the upside? So if we close up here, it'd be like a 15-point loss. I would lose like, I don't know, 130, 140 bucks, something like that. I liked the candle close we got here. I just hate shorting. All right, I told you guys all session that I'm unprofitable with shorting at all-time highs right now. In the last month, shorts have just not been hitting for me. So, maybe take that into consideration when you're in this trade. That's why I'm sizing lighter. But obviously, this is the model, so I'm not going to not take my model just because we're at all-time highs, especially when we have a good draw on liquidity below. Evo? I'm trying it on a funded trade, boy, but do what you got to do, man. I don't even think I would scale anything until here. Because I think that's 1-to-1, right? Yeah, so I'd probably wait for the equal lows. I'd scale like 40% there, 60% at the hourly. Looks A plus, but all time highs. I know, right? That's why I'm taking it with smaller size. This doesn't really feel like a trend line necessarily. Like I feel like we'll just kind of blast through it, but we'll see. All right, guys, this is actually the technical break even. We put in a low and made a lower low, so if this trade ends up losing, it was actually a break even trade. I'm just choking. Did I scale yet? Oh yeah, I scaled. Yeah, scaled some there for a couple points. I'm joking, guys. I'm joking. I'm sorry. Actually, we're in a trade. I can't be making jokes. I have not scaled anything yet. All right, almost at where I'd go break even. This is kind of a weird spot. Doesn't really go along with what I was saying yesterday about break evens, but I like that it's an obvious low, and obviously I want to get to break even sooner when we're shorting at all time highs. Maybe that's a little bit emotional, and I'm being a little less objective than I need to be, but I just don't think I'd want to see a super reaction at this low here. You know? Yeah, right. Jiu-Jitsu. I was just saying that. I missed your message, but yeah, there really isn't any roadblocks here. I don't know. At all time highs, I want to try and get break even early on a short, just because if this thing is going to go to the hourly, I just want it to go. I don't want to have to wait around for it. Where's that? Okay. Honestly, part of me is tempted to just take the break even here because we're kind of running into this trend line thing, but it's okay. I'll let it do its thing. If it loses, it loses. The 5 minute held up price so many times. True, yeah, we really need to see this 5 minute break too. That would be very helpful for order flow. Also, this low that we're going to break even at is on a few different time frames here, so it's not like a non-consequential low. It's actually significant. I hate how we're coming down and making wicks and not grabbing that low. Maybe it's just engineering. Three-minute holding us up? Yeah, three. Oh, the 3 minute got inverse, but yeah, it's a 2 and a 5. I know what you're talking about. I guess we hit the low. So there's the low on NQ. So I guess I'll go stop to break even. This is probably going to be a break even trade, but if we get to that next low, I'll feel really good about it. I mean, we get the OB there, so that should probably hold price anyway, right? Just chill, just chill. Don't soup it, don't V-shape. I really like how this is kind of coming down now. Oh, wow. Okay, so we get our... Oh, no, that was micros. No. No. Do you guys see that wick on micros, or is that just me? I was hoping that was going to fill me there, but it didn't. All right, we're still in this. We're still good. Price just needs to be good here. Just. All right, that's fine. That's fine. Hey, we get our trade. I mean, best we can do. We wait for one side of the draw to be swept. We don't want to mess with shorts really at all time highs, so we have to go break even at a more conservative spot. Obviously, so far this break even looks like it's going to save us, but yeah, just listen to our roadmap. Didn't trade in the mess. Waited for things to clean up a little bit. When it started to clean up, we take our trade. We don't have any emotions about it, and then we just get break even. So that's fine. Yeah, so Friday is a half day profitable, but the markets are just closed. So yeah, both both days. That's crazy though. You posted the whole thing. Yeah, that deserves a skull emoji. You guys were shitting your pants. It was in drawdown like 3 points. What are we talking about? That trade was like barely in drawdown. Oh, because you went 5 minis. Oh, okay, yeah. That's not barely in drawdown. You were down like $400. Hey, you could have made a nice profit there, though. Did we even get to 1R? No, zero point 0.8. You took TP at 3 points? Nice. Stop drawing my stupid box like that. That's funny. Hey, talk to my profit factor, Vert. Talk to my profit factor. He lost $3 on that trade. I lost $2.70 on that trade. Trade boy. Even if I were to stream London session tonight, we have NFP in the morning, so it would just be the same thing as this. And then the market's closed on Friday. So I guess I owe you a London session when? when would we do the market or London session? I could do that, Noah. I could do that. Dude, if PM Stream ever hits like 1,000 members, I will take all of you out to dinner, and we'll go to like Chipotle or something, and we'll order 1,000 Chipotle bowls, or I'll just get it catered. I'd probably just do it catered. Set a tax right off. Hell yeah, 1,000 members. Vert, I never thought I would be at 200. Yet here we are. Do it at 500? Yeah, we could do it at 500. I don't ever expect to hit 500, but yeah. Yeah, you guys can actually see how many people are in PM if you just go to the WAP page. It shows you. We fluctuate a little bit. We like go down to like 180, and then we'll be back at 200, and then we'll go to like 220, and then we'll be back at 200. I didn't know that there was this much interest for PM because I don't know if you guys remember, but there used to be an old PM stream in the server about a year and a half ago. Um, and that never got as big as this. I think they peaked around 160, and there was usually like 60 people in here. So sometimes when we get up to 120 and Ryan joins, he goes, What are you guys doing? 120 people in here. It's chopping." So So price pulled back a little bit. 2 minute hasn't failed yet, but I feel way better about getting break even there because we started to form these order blocks here, right? And this is a super reaction at the low. So maybe a potential reentry on the 30-second here. But at this point, I don't want to take a stab at a trade twice, especially unfunded. This kind of decreases the quality of the trade because the volume is a lot lower now. When we got this candle closed, it was like, okay, cool. That's convincing. It was a 10-point candle, probably one of the biggest candles in the session. 5-minute trend line, yep. Yeah, we're kind of getting this thing going on. I think overall what it's going to take for us to finally get down to the hourly gap is what? What do you guys think I'm waiting for at this point? 5-minute break, 2-minute break, whatever, right? So we need this gap here to break. So maybe if we get this, we can re-enter and just target the hourly. Because this will be what? How many points stop? And we'll have an order block. So that's still 1.5. This would just be a really small trade, but... Walrus, you're from Kitchener? I've been to Kitchener before. We drove through there on our way to Niagara. Good luck, Vert. Down under includes all of that. That's funny. So yeah, we got the next 15-minute close there. Wow, look at the 15-minute. Oh my god. That's horrible. That's so bad. Yo, what's going on, Pete? How are you on stage? Wait, why does it say Pete is on stage for me? Did it just crash? Hello? Hello, hello? Uh-oh. I think stream broke. Dude, what just happened? That was so weird. I couldn't see chat or hear any of you. The last chat that I could see was from the ROI loyalist or whatever at 329. Oh yeah, to break both sides of the hourly. Yeah, we got that first side. We just need the other side now. Okay. Look, this is what it looked like for me. Vert, you only got a 740? Come on, man. And you're Asian? Dude, come on. I don't know what my ASVAB score was. I got a 1440 on the SAT, and I think I scored a 780 on the math section. So I kind of bombed the English section, but, you know, who cares? Screen broke? What did I say? I said, come on, Vert, 740 on the math. And then I said something racist. No, 740 is actually very good. I got a you actually got 10 points better than me. I got a 1440. I got a 780 on the math, and then I got whatever is the other one. Wait, what? Why did I do? Yeah, see, yeah, 780 on math. I got a 660 on the English. Screen, no sound. Bro, what? Okay, I'm leaving. Okay, hello? Is that better? Yeah, let me see if I can pull up my SAT scores from the College Board website. SAT means nothing, by the way, guys. It just shows you what you knew about 10th grade math and reading at a given point in history. Damn, Rip Vert's 30 seconds short. Tough, dude. Um, I have no idea how to find my SAT scores. I'm at College Board, but it says that there's no test results. I mean, I took it in like what, 2018? It might be a different account, but I have no idea what the login information for that would be. Like, is it my old like high school email? Oh wow, I think it is. I think I figured it out. But I have no access to that old email, so if it asks me to like, oh no. Yeah, I don't know. What did Dodge get? I have no idea. Oh, I can select phone? Oh, it went to my old phone. Yeah, I have to verify it with my. Yeah, there's no way for me to get my scores. That's upsetting. Oh well. Well, this is horrible. We're gonna stay on for 350 macro to watch the hour get hit. What do I think about the last 10 minutes to 4 p.m.? MOC, I think it's good. Usually, if there's an uncompleted draw, the 350 macro will take us to that draw. So, in my opinion, I think we're going to dump at the 350 macro today. Um, Vampires or not Vampire Twilight sucks, but on the low, me and my girl are watching the show. She's watched like 6 or 7 times. It's called Vampire Diaries. That show's pretty all right. It's just better Twilight. Vert, no spoilers. No spoilers. Actually, I will ban anyone that spoils Vampire Diaries. I'm not joking. I'll refund you. I'll do whatever. But I just how long would you take a trade after 4? I wouldn't ever take a trade after 4. Not sure. But basically, yeah, the best Vampire Diaries character. Oh wait, Vert, who's your favorite? By the way, that's not even a spoiler. That's just a fact. They literally all die. Bonnie, bro, Bonnie sucks. She's hella annoying. I like Caroline. Caroline's my favorite. Nah, my favorite show of all time, profitable, is Breaking Bad for sure. All right, so we're kind of getting through this 2/5 minute gap here. I actually hate Outer Banks. That's like such like a Gen Z thing to say. Yeah, Outer Banks is not good. I understand liking Stranger Things, but Stranger Things took too long. Yeah, Outer Banks is kind of childish. You're kind of right. It's kind of like there's, yeah, I don't know. I think I watched like 4 episodes. I just couldn't get into it. I thought the acting was stupid too. Okay. That's so funny. What about Wednesday, bro? Stop. Stop, stop. What's another good show? Okay, an overrated show is definitely The Boys, if we're being honest. It's a good show. It's got good takes on like modern modern day whatever, but like dude, like it's rough, man. I really like the plot. I really like the plot of The Boys. I like the themes. The acting is kind of rough at times. The writing is kind of rough at times. But yeah, the plot is really good. I really like some of the redemptions in that show. Like I really like A Train's arc. A Train's arc was cool. All right, here's 3:45. Obviously, no 5 minute close there. No 2 minute close. This was kind of a scary short to take, to be honest, right? Do you guys see why, when we get to that next liquidity level, order flow becomes kind of uncertain? And we kind of know that this 5 minute gap is what's holding price up. Like we know that order flow is kind of dependent on it. So we can assume that once this breaks, we'll go for this gap. But taking this short was risky because we didn't know if this was going to break. We just kind of thought that it would, given the reaction we got to the high. But then obviously, it just didn't. So that's why we got break even. I've never seen Lost. BoJack Horseman, like those last 3 seasons of it were really good. Basically, Vert. Would you rather it be this vert or silence? Yeah, I don't know. A trade? Yeah, I'd prefer a trade too. We got a trade, but obviously it just didn't deliver. Um, Stranger Things is good. I like the world building in Stranger Things. Suits? Oh my god, Suits is an overrated show. Dude, I started watching Suits. I really liked those first two seasons, and then it's just the same thing over and over again, and there's zero character growth. I really like to watch shows where the characters and the writing actually like progress. Suits, it's just like a soap. You're just watching the same exact things over and over again. I gotta watch Game of Thrones. Suits falls off after season 5. I completely agree. It just becomes so boring. Suits is a soap opera for sure. Yeah, I imagine Grey's is the same. It just goes on for 14 additional seasons. Yeah, Breaking Bad is the perfect. Yeah, that is literally the blueprint. If your show does not have character progression and plot creation and like story building like Breaking Bad, it's just not going to ever compete. Good rage bait jujitsu. I've never watched Power JS. Breaking Bad good, but I think it's underrated. I could never stop. Yeah, I don't know what would be better than Breaking Bad. I guess I'll have to watch Power. Better Call Saul is good. I think Breaking Bad is just better. Outer Banks is better. Squid Game was good that first season. I have no idea what's going on in the show right now. Somebody told me they're like having an all-out war. Like, is like what are we talking about? They just made it for money. There was this one show that I watched. It was like just like a mini series of this couple that was like they moved into a new house and their neighbors were really weird. I thought that was a good mini series. What was it called? Or maybe it was a movie. I don't remember. It's Watcher. No, no, not Home Improvement. I don't know. I don't think it was Watcher. There was like an older couple. Black Mirror's good. Damo, is that it? I don't know. I don't remember. There's so many movies that start with people move into a house. I don't remember. Yeah, they kept getting sent letters to their house, Damo. Yeah, I think I remember that. What was that called? What was that? Was it really called The Watcher? Yeah, yeah, that was good. It only had a 54% on Rotten Tomatoes, but I enjoyed it. I don't remember actually. I don't know. Maybe it was nostalgia. All right, see you later, K Trades. So yeah, so this wake happens every single day at 3:50. So 5 minute gap never got inversed. 2 minute never got inversed. Yeah, this is really bad. I mean, this is pretty bad. But good teachable moment. Expansion during AM usually leads to PM chop. Not even a retracer. All right, Vert. Catch you later. Yeah, for sure, EJ. See you Monday. I'll just sit here throughout the close. I'm chilling. Anyone have any good 4th of July plans? Anything interesting? Thanks, Terranos. You too. No stream Friday. Yeah, it's the holiday, so markets will be closed tomorrow and Friday. Universal Studios. That sounds like fun. Your birthday. Happy birthday, Fonzo. Yeah, 4th of July, Independence Day for the U.S. Yeah, for sure, Will. Roman Candle War sounds like fun. Canada Day was yesterday. Nice, nice. Well, I was completely wrong about the direction of the market, but it doesn't matter because we never got our IFUG trigger, so that's cool. Yeah, or non-show, I would. Kind of like the same thing as just market open. If you're on the right side of the move before market open happens, you'll get printed. If you're on the wrong side, you'll get wrecked. So just be on the right side. What time does the market close tomorrow? I think it's like 1:15 or 1 o'clock, Logan, Eastern. So with Trade of 8, can you copy trade MFFU accounts? Yes, you can. Do I have any plans for the 4th? I think I'm going to go to a restaurant with my girlfriend's family, and we're going to hang out in the like Bay City area in Michigan. So prop firms will allow you to be in a trade until usually 410. Apex allows you to 4:59. All right, guys. I am probably going to wrap up stream here. I hope you have a great 4th of July weekend, and I will catch all of you probably tomorrow morning for NFP. But yeah, be safe. Don't blow up any of your hands. You need those for trading. So, um, you know, have fun. Have a good weekend. Peace out.